in the previous class, degree of reaction for a velocity compounded, or we can call it as an impulse reaction turbine. So a combination of an impulse reaction turbine. And we have defined degree of reaction as it is the isentropic enthalpy drop in the blade or rotor divided by to the isentropic enthalpy drop for the whole stage, which includes the stator as well as and the rotor. So if I call this as some equation number 1, okay, let me call that as some equation number 1, and some of the facts we discussed. That is, if I consider the stage in case of an this kind of an impulse reaction turbine, see, most of the blade sections are uniform. Each row, see, the sections of the blade, we call that as the sections of the blades are uniform throughout actually. So because of this, what will happen due to this, you actually we will have uniform blade velocity. First thing, the absolute velocity, we call that as V1, and the exit absolute velocity is V1 at the inlet and at exit is V2, and the relative velocities VR1 and VR2 for each pair of blades. This has to be for each pair of blades, or we call for a stage. This is what's going to happen. This is very important. So what we have seen in the previous case for an impulse, when I go for a velocity compound impulse machine, so those factors used to get reduced. So even though my blade speed used to remain same, the velocity triangle, the first row, second row, it used to be smaller, third row, it used to be smaller. But in case of this kind of machines, what will happen? My energy in each and every row almost remains same. So that is the only major difference. Why we go for this kind of machines is this is one particular reason. And one more thing, we have to see that this is a very important. My VR2 is always greater than here VR1 in the reaction turbine. So this is for most of the reaction turbines, or whenever I have go impulse reaction turbines. So this is found. Why this particular thing? As the steam expands, see what will happen. See, this is my turbine. If I take this as my turbine, this is my turbine. Okay, so this is my axis. If I call this as axis, and I have a rotor. Okay, so what I will be having? I will be having the set of a fixed blade first. I can have a fixed blade. So I have a rotor to this particular. So I do have a shaft. Let me take a shaft. So that's what. So I do have a shaft. Okay. This is my shaft, and I do have a rotor. So the rotor will be having the blades. The rotor will be having the blades, so like this, and your stator will be having a blades like this, and each thing is called as one stage. This is the thing. Now at the end, what will I have after this particular thing? So this is my, we call this as a stator, and this is your rotor. Now look at this. What's happened? This is a diverging. The turbine, a steam turbine, it is diverging. Why it is so actually? The reason is, as the steam expands, let me write here, as the steam expands, as the steam expands, the specific volume, as the steam expands, the specific volume, that is small v, okay, it increases. The specific volume increases. Okay, what do you mean by it actually? The pressure is going to drop. See, when I speak of expansion, the pressure drops and your specific volume increases. So this won't happen in case of most of your this thing. So progressively, so because of this particular thing, I should increase the, so because of this, the area has to increase progressively. That means to mitigate for, to why this particular thing is there, because you know that we have this mass flow rate. Mass flow rate is nothing but rho A Vf, or I can write it as A into Vf by your specific volume. So now, when the specific volume is increasing, look at this, this is the denominator. When I have a denominator, volume is increasing, it has to be compensated. When outside the flow, I'm not seeing that much of changes. Okay, this the corresponding area has to increase when my specific volume decreases. So what will happen if the specific volume increases, your density drops. So these things, to take care of this particular thing, we have to ensure that your turbine section is diverging. Okay, that's one thing. Also, now let us write for the efficiencies. Let's write the expressions for some of the efficiencies. Expression for efficiencies. Expressions for efficiency. Let us consider for a stator or a nozzle. A stator or nozzle. Okay. So what is the nozzle efficiency? Nozzle efficiency is nothing but your kinetic energy, whatever that's going to change. That is, if I call that as V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2 divided by your isentropic enthalpy drop, whatever is that. This is in the nozzle. I am speaking of nozzle. Let me be very specific with it. In the nozzle. Now look at this. What is the C2? C2 or V2? V2 is nothing but exit velocity. V2 is nothing but your exit velocity. Or, sorry, this is V1. Sorry, it is your nozzle. V2 is your V2 is the velocity with which it's going to enter your sea. Say I have a nozzle. There's something called as carryover coefficient. See, it's coming out of the rotor. The velocity will come out of the rotor at velocity V2 at some velocity. Then enters the next velocity at something carryover coefficient. What velocity it enters? With what velocity it's going to enter? If I consider the carryover coefficient, if I consider the carryover coefficient, if I consider the carryover coefficient, that means it is going to enter. If I consider, say, V1 is nothing but it's what it's going out, and V2 is what is coming into that particular nozzle. If I consider the carryover coefficient as something, we have defined that as psi, I can write V1 square minus psi into V2 square divided by 2 into delta H isentropic in the nozzle. This is your nozzle efficiency. Or if I want in terms of isentropic enthalpy drop, just I do a little bit of cross multiplication. So if I do a cross multiplication, I can write delta H isentropic in the nozzle is equal to V1 square minus psi into V2 square divided by 2 into your nozzle efficiency. Let me call this as some expression number 2. So this is with respect to only considering the nozzle. See, Only the nozzle or fixed blades. Few books they call this as fixed blades. Okay. Now what will happen if I move towards, if I consider the velocity triangle? Already we have the velocity triangle. Let me take that velocity triangle. Okay. Let me consider this velocity triangle. Consider the velocity triangle. Consider the velocity triangle. Okay. I am considering this velocity triangle, and you apply the cosine rule. Consider the velocity triangle. See, from the velocity triangle for from the velocity triangle, applying the cosine rule, I can write, say this is my alpha 2. What is my cos beta 2? So I can apply. See, if I write V2 square, see, V2 square is equal to, if I consider the triangle ADF, I can write your V2 square is equal to VR2 square plus U square minus 2 into VR2 into U into cos beta 2. Fine. So this is what I have actually. If I write in terms of, if I take something like, let me define, let phi 2. See, we know that speed ratio is nothing but u by v1. Already we have defined. Let me define some phi 2. Okay. Phi 2 is equal to u divided by VR2. Let me define phi is equal to u divided by VR2. Fine. Now if I, then what will happen? Your u is equal to phi 2 into VR2. So what will happen if I put it in terms of your V2 square? Wherever we have V2 square, if I substitute, this will become your V2 square is equal to your VR2 square plus phi 2 square into VR2 square minus 2 into VR2 into, okay, u is nothing but phi into VR2. So phi into VR2 into cos beta 2, or I can write V2 square is equal to VR2 square plus phi 2 square into VR2 square minus 2 into phi into VR2 square cos beta 2. Okay. Now I can take VR2 outside. I can substitute, I can take VR2 outside. So V2 square is equal to VR2 square outside. This will become 1 plus phi 2 square minus 2 phi cos beta 2. Okay. Now what I will do, I will take this, I am calling this as equation number 3. Substitute the B2 square in equation 2. So this equation I am going to substitute. So what will happen to your delta H isentropic for the nozzle or blade, nozzle or stator, whatever it may be. I can write it as, it will be V1 square minus phi into V2 square, I am writing it as VR2 square into, so everything. So 1 plus phi 2 square minus 2 phi cos beta 2 whole thing divided by 2 times your nozzle efficiency. Okay, if you want, you can open the bracket or you can leave it as it is. Okay, let me call this as expression number 4. This is with respect to the stator. Now, what will happen? What is the available energy for each row of moving blades or rotors? See, the available energy for the rotor or the moving blades. What is it? What is available over there? So we do have, in terms of, see, if I want to go there, if we consider the carryover coefficient, it will be with respect to relative. Okay. So then your blade efficiency or your what I call it as vane efficiency, whatever we call that we call. So that is vane efficiency or blade efficiency, both are same. The blade efficiency or vane efficiency is equal to, so your VR2 square minus VR1 square divided by 2 into the isentropic efficiency, this drop in the blades or whatever it may be. Now, if you look at this, VR1 square, I have to, if psi is the carryover coefficient, if psi is the carryover coefficient, if psi is considered, if you got it as, if psi is considered, then your VR1 square will be considering the psi. Then your VR1 square will be VR2 square minus psi into VR1 square divided by 2 into delta H isentropic for the blade. Let me call it as B for the blade and N for the nozzle. Okay, this is your efficiency. Let me call this as some equation number 5. Let us go back to the same velocity triangle. If I go back to the velocity triangle and apply the cosine rule, if I go back to the velocity triangle, apply the cosine rule from the velocity triangle, look at this. I want in terms of VR1 square, that is, consider the triangle ADB. Consider the triangle ADB. If I do that, VR1 square will be equal to V1 square plus U square minus 2 into V1 into U into cos alpha 1. Okay, let me write that. Consider the triangle ADF. So I can write, using cosine rule, I can write it as VR1 square is equal to V1 square plus U square minus 2 into V1 into U into cos alpha 1. Okay. Now already we have defined speed ratio. So already we have defined. Let phi be the speed ratio. Phi is equal to U by V1 such that U is equal to phi into V1. And if I substitute for that, actually if I substitute for your U, this will be V1 square plus phi square into V1 square minus 2 into V1 into phi into V1 into cos alpha 1. So what I can do here, I can take V1 square common. So VR1 square is equal to V1 square. If I take common, so this will be 1 plus phi square into V1 square. Sorry, phi square, that's it. V1 square is taken out. So 1 plus phi square minus 2 into phi into cos alpha 1. So let me call this equation number 6. Now substitute the VR1 square in equation 5. So what will happen to your blade efficiency or vane efficiency is equal to VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 into phi into cos alpha 1 divided by 2 into delta H isentropic for the plate. Let me call that as expression number 7. So this is expression for your blade efficiency or vane efficiency, and we have the similar expression for your nozzle efficiency. So here I can take isentropic plate to the numerator. I'll do a little bit of cross multiply. I'll call that as, so I can write delta H isentropic for the blade is equal to VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 phi cos alpha 1 whole thing divided by 2 into this blade efficiency. I am calling this as equation number 7. Now what is this actually? This is the enthalpy drop for the blade and this is the enthalpy drop for the nozzle. Okay, this is the enthalpy drop for the nozzle. If you go and see for the definition for the R, what it is actually, isentropic enthalpy drop for the rotor is also called blade divided by isentropic for the stator plus isentropic enthalpy drop for the rotor. I am going to substitute everything in degree of reaction. Okay, substituting this equation, that is your equation number 4 and 7. So substituting the equations, 4 and 7 in degree of reaction expression, degree of reaction expression. If I substitute, what I am going to get? R is equal to, first thing is for the rotor, this will be VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 into phi into cos alpha 1 whole thing divided by you have for the stator, that is V1 square minus phi into VR2 square, VR2 square into 1 plus phi 2 square, no? Yeah. 1 plus phi 2 square minus 2 phi cos beta 2. 1 plus phi 2 square is psi actually. This is psi. Phi 2 square the psi 2 square minus 2 phi 2 cos beta 2, okay, plus VR2 square minus psi into V1 square into 1 plus phi square minus 2 phi cos alpha 1. So this is your expression for degree of reaction R after substituting everything. So I can simplify further. If you want, I can simplify further or leave it as it is. This is your expression. This will be your final expression for your system. Okay, fine. Okay. Now we have the expression for work done. Yes, this is the expression. Let me call this expression number 8. This is the expression for degree of reaction. Now for the work done, W is given by the work done expression is given by your W is equal to, you have your, say for example, I have for first row or second row, whatever you use. I can write it as VW1 minus VW2. So that is delta VW into U. Or I can write it as VW1 minus VW2 into U. This expression is there, already we have. What is your VW1? It is the tangential component of it. So if I take cos alpha 1 is equal to, so we have cos alpha 1 is equal to your opposite side, so adjacent side, you have that particular thing, your VW1 divided by V1 cos alpha, or I can write VW1 is equal to V1 cos alpha. So similarly, what is cos beta 2? I can write, take cos beta 2. Let's go to the triangle. Okay, what is your cos beta 2? If I take it, actually this will be VW2 plus U, okay, divided by VR. It's equal to VW2 plus Q divided by VR2, or I can write VW2 is equal to, so VW2 is equal to your VR2 cos beta 2 minus of U, that is VR2 cos beta 2 minus U. So when I substitute in my regular expression, your W is equal to V1 cos alpha 1 minus, okay, minus it will be VR2 into, so VR2, so minus of, yeah, minus VR2 cos beta 2. So as BW, if it is minus, actually minus of minus, this will be, this is minus of minus, this will be plus, yes. So this will be plus VR2 minus U, because your VW2 in this, if I look into this particular thing, your VW1 is in this direction and your VW2 is in this direction, so it is minus of minus. So work done expression will be VW1 minus of minus, that is VW2. So I have substituted it. So work done is equal to V1 cos alpha 1, okay, minus, sorry, plus VR2 cos beta 2 minus U. Now what is this phi? See, already we know that U is equal to phi into U. I will substitute for that particular thing. So I will substitute for U and try to simplify it. So V1 cos alpha 1, you have multiplied by U. You have multiplied by U. So let's substitute for phi is equal to, so we know that U is equal to phi into V1. This already we know. So what I will do, I will substitute this. So W is equal to, so V1 as it is, V1 cos alpha 1. Let's multiply that. So U into V1 cos alpha 1. Then we'll substitute. This will be V1 into U into cos alpha 1 plus VR2 into U into cos beta 2 minus U square. Now let's substitute it. So W is equal to your V1 as it is. This will be phi into V1 cos alpha 1 plus VR2 into phi into V1 cos beta 2 minus your U is equal to phi square V1 square. So W will be equal to, if I take V1 square as my common outside, if I take V1 square, this will be phi into your cos alpha 1 phi plus, so VR2 by, see, I need to write, so if I take V1 square outside, this will be phi into VR2 by V1. So it will be VR2 by V1. I had to write it. So this is the at right hand, so then I'll write it minus phi square. Let me write it minus phi square because V1 square is there. So if I take it, then this will be plus phi into VR2 divided by V1 into cos beta 2. Okay. Because I'm taking my V1 square outside. So VR2 by V1 into, or what is my VR2? VR2 I can write it as, see, already we have seen. What is my VR2? If you go back and see here, psi 2 I have taken, no? Yeah. VR2 I can write it as U by phi 2. Okay. VR2 I can write it as, VR2 I can write it as phi 2 divided by U. Okay. So let me first substitute that V1 square into phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi square plus phi into VR2 I am writing it as phi 2 divided by U into V1, or I can say, I'm writing the next step, I'll write it cos beta 2 W is equal to phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi square plus phi into, what is your U? Your U is actually phi into V1. Okay, phi into V1. U is equal to phi into V1 or into V1. Okay, into cos beta 2. Into cos beta 2. Or if I take my V1 square outside, so this will be an equation. So phi will just cancel out. I'm left with is equal to V1 square outside phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi square plus phi 2 by V1 square into cos beta 2. Or either you can retain in terms of, see, you can retain this equation as it is, or you can reduce to this kind of an equation. This is your expression for work done. Why I have written this particular thing in terms of phi and V1 is actually, I want the gross stage efficiency. So that is, you have your gross stage efficiency. The gross stage efficiency. So what is this gross stage efficiency? This is your work done W per unit stage, whatever it may be, divided by your isentropic enthalpy drop in the nozzle plus isentropic enthalpy drop in the rotor or blade. So this expression. So I can write it as V1 square into phi into cos alpha 1 minus phi square plus phi 2 by v1 square into cos beta 2 whole thing divided by, okay, we can write that. So delta is isentropic for the nozzle. It is in terms of this one v1 square minus v1 square minus psi into your v1 square minus psi into vr2 square, this thing, this particular whatever the equation 4 I need to write it. Psi into your, let me copy that and paste it. That's better. This equation I have to write it in the denominator. This is for the nozzle and for the stator. So, and for the rotor, I have to copy this one. So, this is your final expression for your gross stage efficiency. Gross stage efficiency, this is the expression, and this is your expression for your gross stage efficiency. I am calling that as expression number, what is the number I given, 8. I call this as 9, and this I am calling it as 10. So this will be the expressions for your impulse reaction turbine for work done, your